Welcome. This is Karen Lindwall-Borg, the owner and president of the National Association of Christian Women Entrepreneurs. We're starting again with another 2 p.m. Tuesday community and education webinar, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you get your time zones correctly. And we're talking about intellectual wellness this week. Before we go too far, just for posterity's sake, Brenda, before I share a few slides and pray us in, tell us how to pronounce Chincoteague. I have to hear it one more time. And it's on recording.
Chincoteague Island.
And the other island is?
Ashatig.
Chincoteague, Ashatig. Okay, got it. We are going to go there in Virginia to see the ponies run one day for sure. Well, let me get us started. Share screen here. We decided to talk about entrepreneur wellness for the whole year, which the Lord kind of downloaded for us, my goodness, a year and a half ago. And he's already told us, we think, what we're going to talk about for next year as well. So we're very excited about and very, very grateful to the Lord for giving us guidance like that so we can be confident that we're doing what he's asked us to do his way, which is what we'll be talking about at the conference. Shameless plug there also. We each month are talking about a different dimension of wellness. This month, intellectual wellness, which is always very encouraging for me. We use the acrostic beliefs. So last month we talked about occupational wellness. Next month we'll talk about environmental wellness. We'll bring in another essential oils expert, which everyone's been asking for. We want to study and present ourselves well to the Lord, approved by him, no shame, always rightly handling the word of truth. And I felt like that went right along with intellectual wellness and being where we need to be. As you are in the chat room talking to one another, please let me put this in there. Danica, I should give these to you. In the chat room, let me put it in there. I made you a co-host, Danica, already. In the chat room, tell us who you are and where you are. Everyone so far, Christina, I don't remember where you are, but everybody else is from Texas or Virginia. We're spread out all over so far. We'll see who else pops in on this. Y'all tell us who you are, where you are, what your primary goal for June is. Boy, do I need help, right? And then what's been the most challenging thing for you and what's been the most beneficial thing for you regarding intellectual wellness during this shelter-in-place season, and especially as we're starting to kind of reopen? Let us know. We'll start a conversation about that. We're celebrating, really for the whole summer, we're celebrating NACWI's birthday. And as Danica and I were sort of gearing up for who's going to speak in July, we're also realizing that we adopted, I think it was a year ago, we adopted the International Christian Mompreneur Network, and it's their birthday next month. So we have a NACWI birthday in May, and ICMN birthday in July, and so we're going to talk birthday and give free birthday presents away all summer long, I'm sure. But happy birthday to us, and to Diane Cunningham and to Teresa Sinicola, who started those two groups. And then to me, I started the Helping Professionals Alliance, and we've merged all three of those groups over the last 3 years, starting in April. So, thankfully the Lord, when the Lord calls you to do something, you need to do it. You need to do it well and not be surprised at the transitions along the way. Although I don't know about you guys, transitions can be difficult. We offered you a bunch of freebies on the day of NACWI's birthday, and this is where you can find them. You can always find trainings in a couple dozen, 2 or 3 dozen probably, in the NACWI.org/courses/free training spot. In fact, at the top of the web page, you'll see the button training. You'll click on the training, and there's free training, and then there's the classroom training, which has over 850 items in it for our NACWI Elite members. Most of our replays are popped in there. And then also at NACWI.org/NACWI 10th birthday, same things. You'll find all of the replays, all of the handouts, everything downloadable for free with just a click of a button. Tried to make it easy for you. So happy birthday to us. Last week, we actually talked about our favorite 10 books and 10 little steps to intellectual wellness. And that replay is also on the free training page for you as well. And the handouts of all of the books are on the free training page. And they're also in the files in your NACWE groups, all of your NACWE groups. Today, we're going to hear from Brenda Wise. I'll give you a little more of an introduction to her in just a second. And then next week, I'm going to do this separately, 7 steps to protect your intellectual property, since we're talking about intellectual wellness. But instead, we're going to invite Kathy. I'll do mine at a different hour, and we'll just save it for you. But instead, we're going to invite Kathy Owen Gifford, who owns the company Doodle All the Day-O, to come in and doodle us through intellectual wellness. Because, you know, when you put pen to paper, and use color and step outside your comfort zone a little bit, all sorts of things happen in your life, especially intellectually. You go from, I can't remember whichever side of the brain it is, to the other. And I spend too much time in the other. So I need to be directed by Kathy. So bring your stuff, bring paper, bring pen, bring a poster board, bring markers, bring colors, bring finger paints, whatever you want to do. And we'll kind of let everybody share a little bit. Then we're going to hear from Victoria Carrington, an NACWE member who is writing a book called The Aroma Approach to Bible Study. And as you can imagine, the AROMA are 5 different approaches to Bible study. And then at the end of the month, we're going to have everyone who's a John Maxwell trained team member in the NACWE elite group band together to talk us through his book, Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. Lots of great notes. He gives study guides and that sort of thing. What you don't see on here, and I'll do this really quickly, is on June the 25th, NACWE members Courtney Collins and Beth McGuffin are going to come in and do a vision board party for everyone it'll be 1 to 3:30 Central Standard Time. So you're going to have to sort of extrapolate what that means for you in your time zone. But I'm looking forward to that because I don't live in that creative side of my brain very often. And I appreciate someone walking me through steps like that. And I also know that I'll do it more diligently if I'm doing it in a group. So you'll have to bring your stuff for that one as well. And we'll get information to you about that. We're working on that event right now. So lovely month. What a packed month, a wonderful month. I hope that that different day is a Thursday instead of a Tuesday, and that different time might accommodate some people who can't always make it to our 2 p.m. webinars as well. So I don't know. Brenda's spec sheet is as the length of my arm. And so there's no way, I'll post it in the NACWE group for you, but there's no way to go through the whole thing. But I picked out the things that I thought were most impressive for me. For example, that some of her clients have been NASA, JCPenney's. I don't really go to JCPenney's very often, but when I do go shopping, I kind of hunt them out because of the quality. Appreciate that. And also how everything is color coordinated. Love that. And Mary Kay used to be a Mary Kay consultant, or beauty, whatever we called ourselves back then. And then she focuses on business administration, communication, and behavioral science. She does, the counselors in the group will be interested that she's a NLP trained coach as well. Very cool. If she shows us the bank code thing today, if you're like me at all, you'll fall in love with it. I've actually loved playing with it, and I love the way it's presented. I think it's a prime example of how to present something so that it's, what would you say, concise, succinct, easy, totally user-friendly, beautiful. I was just drawn to it. So I think you'll really enjoy hearing from her. Let me stop share and get her in here and have her take over. Hey, Jasmine, good to see you. Hey, Beth, good to see you. So y'all chat in the chat room. We put in there what we want to hear from you. You're already doing it. Thank you so much. And Brenda, let's get you in.
Okay.
I'm sure you have control of the floor. Thank you so much for being with us. We sort of met. She came in when Dr. Sandra Sessoms Penny spoke to us, because they've been networking together forever and a day. And then somehow I also found you, and found you sent me the bank technology thing. And so there's lots of connections going on here. Probably some the Lord put together we haven't even recognized yet. Praise God, from whom all blessings.
Absolutely.
So thank
Karen,
you for being here.
Karen, this says host disabled participant screen sharing. So,
Uh,
all right, you want to?
let's see. It usually lets anybody share their screen. So let me make you a co-host also.
There you go. Then I think I can share, no problem.
How's
Thank you
that?
guys for being patient. It's all good. All right, let's see if I can. Yes, ma'am, that took care of the problem.
Our new world.
Yay, you got it. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. I just wanted to make sure we could share. Anything else you'd like
No,
to
we're
share?
good. We're ready for you to shine.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for having me and being here, participating today and showing up. Karen, thank you. Yeah, God always works in excellent ways. I'll give you a little bit of history of myself. I went to Norfolk Christian Schools, K through 12. I was reared in a very wonderful, secure, loving Christian home. So I have that amazing background that I'm very blessed, and I do not take that for granted. But one of the very interesting thing is, having gone to Norfolk Christian my whole life, they labeled me in 3rd grade learning disabled. Now, of course, back when I was in school, which was a little while ago, they were all into this LD, learning disabled stuff. And, you know, in 3rd grade, they sent me to a psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever, and she did all these notes on my head, and she's like, you know, yeah, your brain's dented in, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. We all have choices, and this is a part of my story. So I sat there that day, my mom on one side, my dad on the other, and this woman, typical jet black hair, red lips, lily white skin, black dress on. I mean, I see it just as plain as I can see you and I here. And I went, you know what? I hear what she's saying. And I looked at every one of those kids in my class in 3rd grade. And I said, you know what? I'm as smart as any one of those. And being reared in a Christian home, I knew that God didn't make junk. And I knew that I was perfect, whole, and complete, just as I was. And so I said that day in my 8-year-old brain, I'm not going to buy into this. This is not, I'm not going to believe who you tell me that I am. And so I just instantly dismissed it and ended up making the honor roll. And a lot of the education in schools, it's all about a very auditory learner, and I'm a very kinesthetic visual learner. So I think the more Montessori schools now are more geared to teaching children the way they need to learn. And of course, being a master trainer of neuro-linguistic programming, as many of you may know, I learned very early on that, you know, we just all have different learning styles. So I had 2 choices at that time in life. I could have taken the victim role and said, woe is me, and I'm just going to be, I'm going to be what they tell me I'm going to be, or I can not believe that and stay strong in my own faith at a very early age that I was perfect, whole, and complete. And that's the path that I took. Hence, it led me to entrepreneurship. I worked in corporate America for 1.5 years and went, yeah, this is not for me. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. So at age 22, I stuck out on my own, and I've never looked back. It has been a very blessed, amazing career for me, and I'm just honored. So I've had international recognition. I love helping entrepreneurs. I'm a woman entrepreneur, so hence I love serving the entrepreneurial community. As I said, I'm a master trainer in neurolinguistics, and that has really helped a lot with communications and connecting, and some of that you'll see in here today. And again, I've been a business owner now actually 38 years. So God has blessed me. That's all I can say, is I love the freedom to be me and to express me. So we're going to talk today, as Karen and I were talking early on, you know, can you fit this into intellectual intelligence? And I was listening to one of the previous programs that you did with Iris Grimm's. And I know, Karen, you're a big fan of hers and like that. And I guess it was last week you guys were talking about, you know, what is intellectual intelligence? And some of you nailed it right on the head, as I would have, and that is always growing, always learning. You know, I always strive every day to be the best that I can be. I want to be the best version of me I can be every day. I am a lifelong learner. And I think, you know, as we continue to explain this muscle up here called a mind, then life can just be amazing. And so that's the path that I've always been on. Today, as Karen mentioned, I'm going to talk about a system called B.A.N.K. It's by Codebreaker Technologies. I was trained and certified a couple of years ago. And again, I love anything that teaches us how to be better communicators with ourselves and with others around us, be it our spouses, be it our children, be it our coworkers, our teammates, be it the prospect that's sitting in front of us that we're talking to. This is a system that you can use in every area and aspect of your life. And when I found it, it took me 10 minutes to decide this is absolutely something that I need to share with others. And I'm very, very passionate about it. So B.A.N.K is B.A.N.K, and we'll get a little bit more into that. This is really talking about mastering the science of communication, of connection, and building relationships using the science of B.A.N.K. So you notice there's 4 different colors. We'll get a little bit more into that. But when you're talking about communicating and connecting, which is a theme here and moving forward, you know, it shows up in our life when we date, whether it's when we started dating early on, or we might just be in that space now where we're starting to date. It shows up all the time in marriages and relationships. It shows up every nanosecond in parenting. And it shows up in the friendships that we have, or maybe that we don't choose to have, either way. So it shows up in our life in every aspect of our life. That's why for me, communications leading to connection and building relationships is absolutely paramount to success in life and success in business. When we talk about relationships, we found that although this is something we have taken a lot, first off, into the corporate community and teaching business owners and entrepreneurs how to use this, what we found repeatedly was people were saying, oh my gosh, B.A.N.K saved my marriage. Why? Because I learned how to better communicate to this person that I was living with. B.A.N.K saved my child's life because he was suicidal and we didn't know what was going on. It helped me to have, to pick a better mate. It helped me be a better friend. There was so many different personal areas that B.A.N.K was bleeding over, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Not only is it impactful in business, but it's absolutely key in understanding our relationships. So when it comes to relationships, these are some very interesting facts. That most important quality in dating is going to be, and hold on just a second, because I'm going to try to move this. It's a little bit in my way. Personalities or communication styles. You will hear me mention both interchangeably, personality types and communication styles, because they're really one in my mind. Second thing, obviously, you know, we have 50% divorce rate in this country. And one of the biggest challenging things with parenting is parenting the child that you have, and I should say, not parenting a child for who you wish them to be. Because that does happen a lot of times. When we're one communication style, we expect to be parenting that child accordingly, and that could be all totally wrong, as you will see as we move forward. Also, most of our relationships, due to a lack of common interest and being able to make that connection, will fall away for a season, maybe for life. So what Karen was talking about earlier is cracking your code. What communication style are you, and how can you best serve the people around you, be it in business, family, or friends? And the key really is understanding who they are, understanding what are their values, how do they think, how do they process life and life events. And will start to show this. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of how B.A.N.K works. Again, I've tried to shift this from business into relationship and kind of marry the two, because they really do marry. It's just I'm kind of bleeding them together. So what does B.A.N.K stand for? Number one, it is personality based. It is people focused, and it's very purpose driven. One of the keys in relationships is being able to connect with and understand that other person that we are speaking with. And if we don't understand that, then we're going to be missing each other, and they're not going to feel understood. And they're not going to feel that connection that we want them to feel, because we're not communicating to them according to their model of the world, not ours. And see, that's what most of us do. When we're communicating to our spouse, to our coworkers, whatever that is, we're just talking as we process information on our own. We're not thinking about how that person that's standing in front of us process information, and most people don't even know it. They have no clue about this type of science and psychology. So I love sharing it in a way that's very easy to understand and very, very easy to implement. So in the B.A.N.K system, as you see, B.A.N.K, B-A.N.K, there are 4 different communication styles or personality types. There is the blueprint, hence the blue. There is action, movers, shakers, millionaire makers. Those are those people that just right up there. And then there's those nurturers, those people that just have such a big heart. And we'll talk again a little bit more about them. And then there's the knowledge people. They are very, 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 very smart. Now, they don't have the most personal connection, communication skills that are the best, but they are probably one of the most smartest people in the room. So we can respect them for that. All of personality science stems from Hippocrates 2,500 years ago. And he found that as he worked with his patients, that he realized that they were different and he couldn't treat them the same way. So he basically broke it down into what we know today as the 4 temperaments. So as he began to understand the 4 temperaments, he could absolutely communicate and treat physically each one of those styles for better health. Now, many of us are aware that there are a bazillion personality assessments out there. Some of the most popular are DISC, Myers-Briggs, Strength Finders. Of course, there's the codes, the color codes, the animals, and all of that. I am a certified DISC trainer many, many years ago, but a couple of things that I found challenging was, number one, to be able to assess somebody, you have to take this long 125 questions, and you really had to understand the whole psychological piece of it that for most people in the layperson just didn't understand and couldn't use it easily in their life, with their spouse, with their children, with their work relationships. When I found B.A.N.K, it was so simplistic. It was so effective and so purposeful that I just really found it to be something that I needed to share with others. So the missing link was understanding these differences and then working with those differences to make a real connection. Again, cracking somebody's code. What is beautiful is we have these 4 little cards here, and I can just give those to somebody, and in 90 seconds, they can tell me exactly what their communication style is so that I can immediately start speaking to them, communicating to them, and connecting to them so that they feel heard, they feel understood, they feel loved, they feel supported in all of the different vernaculars that we're in as human beings. And oh my gosh, right now, we are so starved for connection. We are looking to connect again with people. And even though it has to be in a more Zoom remote situation, integrating, yes, right now, but still understanding and meeting those needs with somebody over the internet is just as easy with the B.A.N.K methodology and understanding those communication styles. Tony Robbins, I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins. Perhaps many of you are in here. He says, always let your prospect determine your presentation. We're all women entrepreneurs. When you're talking to that person as a coach, when you're speaking to that prospect or person sitting across from you or on the other side of that screen, you need to understand that how they communicate is how you can best serve them. Because when you don't understand them, I think we do a grave disservice to them by not being able to meet them where they are. You could have a team of people. You could be in direct selling, network marketing. We are taking this into the industry by storm and helping people connect with other people. And it's an amazing thing. So here's the question. If there are clearly four communication styles and or personality types, and you're going to share your business with another human being, be it in person, on the phone, or on the internet, how many presentations do you feel like you should be prepared to give when you pick up the phone to talk to that person? And you can say it out loud, you can tap it in the chat, it's pretty easy. 4. Because again, you can hear linguistically, if you're tuned in, what are the words that they're using that will steer you in the direction to how you need to be speaking and communicating to them. But it's very, very important that you know this. And intellectually, if you have not been trained in the sciences of communication, then it's really hard to understand what that really is. Of course, most of us are unconscious competence. We are not consciously aware of what we should be doing very intentionally to be able to move that relationship forward and to serve that person. So just remember, when you're talking to a family member, a spouse, a prospect, you need to be sensitive to where are they coming from as far as communication style and deal directly head on with that. That is where we become one and we become more understood. And that certainly is what the world needs right now, is people are not feeling understood. They're not feeling heard. And this is the very basis to be able to start that process. To be able to improve communications, thus improving your communication, you can do that by 300% right now as you begin to learn about B.A.N.K. And let me explain that. You see, right now, I know that I am a very action person. I am a very action communicator. And I know that if I am to relate to those loving, nurturing beings that are out there, or the Ks that are very, very intellectual, or those blueprints who are much like those in the military and or police that are very structured, process, procedure driven, if I can't get out of myself and communicate with those other things, then I'm going to be missing them. With the communication style of B.A.N.K, I know intentionally how to speak to every one of those codes, so I can just up my communication skills 300% by not only realizing who I am and how I communicate, but how I can do that better with others. In fact, statistically, you have a 1 in 4 chance right now of being blind and not knowing any of this information, of making a connection and building rapport with somebody like that. 1 in 4. That's 25%. But look at the other side of that scale. 75%, or 3 out of 4 people that you're communicating with, you're missing because you're not communicating to them in their communication style. So that will cost you a sale. It can cost you a relationship. But you know what it also does? Is it sends that prospect to your competition. Because see, if you're not serving them by communicating with them exactly how they need to hear your message and your presentation, there's going to be a disconnect and they're going to walk away unserved. But they're going to try to find somebody else who may meet that naturally. I can tell you right now that about 75% of the population are very action communicators. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like. And they're very nurturing. That's what a majority of people on planet Earth are. So that's a good thing, and oftentimes helps in the process of communication. So let's kind of look at the science. Why are some people we are attracted to, and some people we are not attracted to, and even in marriages or in relationships, we'd rather attack them. And so that's a very interesting dynamic, and it really comes down to some very basic things. So here's how opposites attract. And it's through communication and through personality science. The person on the left is the blueprint. And the person on the right, behind the pictures, hopefully you can see that, is an action person. Now see, the blueprint is saying, wow, you are such an entrepreneur, because that is an aspect of an action person. They're risk takers, they're movers, they're shakers. They love opportunity. They are just those fast-paced moving people. The blueprint's also saying you show up unexpectedly. You're full of change, and you like flexibility, and you like doing new things, and you're not afraid to do all that stuff. I'm always the first one. Hey, if I haven't done it before, let's go do it. You know, let's have fun. And of course, the last thing is you make things that happened all of the time. The other side, whoops, we need to go back a little bit here. We're jumping ahead. So you see that blueprint person that's usually very risk averse, who is they like control. They like process. They like procedures. That couldn't be any more different than an action communication style, because they are totally, I couldn't go in the military if my life depended on it, because somebody started yelling at me and telling me what to do. I'd be like, I'm out of here, because I create my own, because that's why we're entrepreneurs. So that model would not fit for me, and I would not be in that world very well and very long. However, why do opposites again attract? On the other hand, the action person is going to go, wow, you are a blueprint type of person. You have such a stable job. You pay your bills. You know where your next check's coming from, as opposed to a commission like many of us work off of. You have food in the refrigerator, which again, the action people are not always like that. Again, they're way out there, but they see those things that are stable, that are very certain, that are very predictable in that other person. And so they gravitate and they attract to that kind of person. However, in time, what happens is the action person is like, oh my gosh, you don't like to do anything fun. You're not spontaneous. You know, you're not willing to take a risk and go out there and do something fun. And so that enhances the attack. So what we love and we're attracted to, we now all of a sudden are attacking, because it's just not who we are. And unless we understand and know that person's model of the world and how they communicate and how they live based on their values and their beliefs, which is exactly what you're seeing, then it's going to lead into divorce. And it's going to lead into parents not being able to parent their children properly. The next one is that loving, nurture person, heart of gold, sunshine, has a large connection with a lot of people, because that's who they are. They love people. They love to serve. They're very into charitable work. And their communication is they're averse to any kind of dissension or confrontation. They just want everybody to get along and love each other. And so they're with this knowledge person in green, and the nurture saying, oh my gosh, you know everything. You are so smart. You solve all my problems. You listen to me, because those are very clear characteristic and values of that person who is a knowledge communicator and personality style. The knowledge people love gadgets. They're really into themselves. They would much rather be left at home than go to a party with the nurture. So what the nurture is attracted to first, over time, it attacks. Because it's like, you never want to go with me. You never want to be with my friends. You know, you don't have any friends. You're not, you don't ever touch me. You never tell me you love me. You know, you don't show me affection. You don't bring me gifts home. Well, you see, that's very clearly a knowledge person. But in time, the nurture's like, that's not for me. I need somebody who's going to want to touch me, who wants to tell me they love me, and who wants that loving, cuddling kind of relationship. And the knowledge is like, go away. That's not who I am. Stay away. I'd rather go read a book. I'd rather go play with gadgets or something like that. So what we are attracted to first, we then all of a sudden it becomes very unattractive to us. But we don't know it until it's too late if it's a relationship. On the other hand, that knowledge person is like, oh my gosh, you pay attention to me. You really love taking care of me. You love serving me. You know, you have so many friends and it feels so good. But then the knowledge person is go, okay, I've had enough. I need my space. I need to go play with my gadgets. I don't process the world that way. I'd rather intellectually read and learn, and I'd rather have a debate. Well, a nurturing person, they're not up for debating. They're not into that kind of thing. They just want everybody to get along, but that's where the knowledge person is going to come from. So what we are attracted to in the beginning, over time, we are not attracted to at all, and that's where we start to attack. If we don't understand the people that we are married to, in a relationship with, or parenting, or that coworker. Because I find I have coworkers of all different communication styles and personality types. And if I didn't understand how to get along with them, wow, my best friend and business partner of 38 years, she's total blueprint. But she is so great with systems and processes and behind the scenes kind of stuff, where I'm the one that's out there. I'm going to be out there and doing the show. I'm going to be out there networking, making friends. She just as soon be at home, sitting behind her computer, doing her stuff. That's where her gifts lies. But I have strengths over here. So together, knowing that, we make an excellent team. And that's important to know when you've got team members that you're working with. And of course, everybody loves John Maxwell. And he says, to be successful, you need to learn how to really communicate with other people, to understand how they communicate, to understand how they process their model of the world, because guaranteed it's going to be different. Maybe not a lot, maybe a whole lot. But you understanding that you take the lead. And you are the one with the power to be able to help and support others. This is a very interesting statistic by the Challey Group. And it states that 18% of buyers will buy from a salesperson that doesn't match their communication style. Like, you've presented your information to your prospect or your client, and if you didn't communicate on their level, they may or may not choose to buy from you or do business with you in the future. However, those that actually match the same communication style or personality type, 82% will buy from you. So if you look at that and understand that, you have radically increased your ability to connect with a human being and to serve them better. And by serving them better, they will buy from you. And of course, we're in business, we're entrepreneurs. We need to know how to up our game, and we need to know how to set ourselves apart from the competition. And this is how you begin to do that, by understanding and connecting and communicating effectively with another human being. The ability to connect with others begins with your understanding the value of people, and as well understanding their values. What do they base their decisions on? What do they base their life on? What are the core values inside of them that come to the surface when they're communicating to another human being. It's all right here on 4 little cards. It is absolutely impressive and amazing. My computer came unplugged. Let me plug it up. So here's a perfect example of a father who came to our bank seminar, and he was, as you can see, he was very blueprint. The challenge was he had a daughter. Well, I'm sorry, he was very action. His daughter was very blueprint. And he didn't get along with his daughter. They were having some relationship problems. And when he came to B.A.N.K and he began to understand the different communication styles, the different values and core beliefs that go with those different communication styles, he was able to go home and change how he communicated with her, and their relationship improved 100% just because now he knew. This is a young lady. She's a bank trainer. And she was going over to some friend's house because they were having some problems with their child because he was very suicidal. And so she went in and she just explained the B.A.N.K methodology and the different communication styles and the different personality types. Well, what she found to be true was the mother, the father, and the other sibling were all high action communicators. They were, fast paced, going, they were great on opportunities and, hey, let's go do this for fun this weekend. And, oh, let's do this. But they had one child who was a knowledge. That kid was very introverted. He'd rather stay home and read a book, play with his video games. And he felt so out of place. We have a major issue with suicide in our country. 3,000 people a day are killing themselves. And much of it has to do with the fact that they don't feel like they fit in. They don't understand why they are different. And so by her explaining to this young man who was a knowledge, he was like, well, isn't that interesting? I'm smarter than any one of y'all, because she related to him why he was different and why they were different and how that manifested in their life and how it manifested in his life. And so he felt so good about who he was, and his values were learning. He was really into intellectual and logic. Things have to make sense to me. They needed to make sense to him. He loved technology. He loved the big picture. He was very much into accuracy, not like, okay, let's just make it happen and roll like the whole rest of them were. And so you can see how he felt so out of place. And literally, that kept him from taking his own life. That's how powerful this information is, whether it's a family dynamics or whether you're using it in business. This is Esther and her identical twin, Nicole. Esther learned early on about the B.A.N.K system, and what she came to understand is she was very action. She was very much a love, mover, shaker, millionaire maker. She didn't want to fit into a mold like her blueprint sister. But what was interesting is her whole family was blueprint. And she struggled with that her whole life because she never felt like she fit in, where they wanted her to do a certain thing and follow a certain path and do this. And she was just like, man, that's not who I am. That's not what I want to do. And she was very, very, very unhappy. Then when she found B.A.N.K, she explained it to her family, and now they all appreciate and they value each other for who they are and what they bring to the table. But this is all intellectual awareness. If you don't understand this stuff, you can never really help serve others. Our whole motto is one world, one language. It is the language of B.A.N.K. And when you know how to speak the language of B.A.N.K and communicate to another human being, you will add so much value to them and to their lives as well as your own. So how many of you were able to code yourself? How many went on and did the B.A.N.K code for free? It's typically a $99 cost. It is free to anybody that went on and clicked their B.A.N.K code. Did any of you get to do that aside from Karen? If you didn't, please do it. it is an amazing, amazing information. You will actually get some, well, I'll go to that in just a second. So here's the deal. There are 24 combination of bank codes. So there are 24 different communication styles that are out there. And you are one of the 24. So what that means is 4% of the people out there you'll be able to resonate with, probably get along just great with. But 96% of the people that are out there in your world and in your life and in your business, you are not going to be able to connect with comfortably because they're not in your same communication style. So to be able to get outside of and be more flexible, this is a phenomenal tool. I mean, think about those of you that are coaches and consultants. How valuable is this to be able to use with those people that you are serving to help them coach their life, help them coach in relationships, help them consulting them in business and the direction that they need to go? This kind of information can absolutely be a solid foundation to really help them with their values, their beliefs, and what will serve them better. As we said, there are 4 little cards and they have value systems on them. And when I'm sharing with somebody, I simply hand them the cards and I say, do me a favor, please. And that's if we're in person. We have it online. That's what Karen did. She took hers online. And I say simply, put these cards in order. Most to least like you. Why? This is going to help me serve you better. It's going to help me communicate with you better. And it's going to save us both a lot of time and extra energy. 90 seconds it takes for me to be able to understand clearly how I should be communicating to and connecting with. As you see, what I love about these cards is it's all about the values. Your values, what is important to you in life. And what is important to you in life may be different than me, but when I understand what it is about you that's important, then I will absolutely get outside of myself and work to make sure I am making that connection with you. Because there's no greater gift I can give to you than to really connect with you, to have you feel heard and understood, and to really serve you better. Like I said, Karen was able to do the online assessment. So anybody, anywhere in the world, wherever your customers or clients may be, they can simply go on and in 90 seconds, they can take their assessment and then they will get a report, like Karen talked about, that told her all about herself, what her communication style was, what turned her on, what turned her off. And it's an amazing report. But the second piece, and I sent Karen this, was this is a report that I get so that I know exactly how I should be communicating with Karen. Let me tell you, that is like having the Holy Grail, because I know everything I need to say, how I need to approach Karen, how I need to present the information to Karen so that she really gets it and feels understood. It is an amazing tool. I absolutely love it. Another way that we use it in business, I can go on LinkedIn and I can take anybody's profile and I can run it through our artificial intelligence. And so I can just copy and paste. I can click one button and it will tell me exactly who they are. So that when I begin to strike up a relationship and a conversation with them, I'm going to make sure that my message is typed or spoken, or that email addresses them in exactly their communication style. Do you think I'll have better rapport with them as a result of that? Do you think they'd want to do business with me if I am paying that much attention to who they are? Absolutely, 100% of the time. Will I be able to do business with them faster? Yes, because they like me, they know me, and they now trust me. And that's what we're looking for in business. We've got to build that know, like, and trust just like that, at the speed of light, as Stephen Covey says. So if we know how to communicate and connect with them, we are going to master that in the most amazing way. It is almost magical. So again, you get a report, they get their report for free, and that's a gift to them. So that's a give back that you can absolutely use to be able to give to them to show value. You see, it's not always take, it's about adding value to people's life. And this is a way that I can add value to their life. When I'm working with them, I have a CRM that has their code right in front of me. So when I'm having that ongoing conversation, whether it's a weekly, monthly conversation, or I'm working in sales, between the 5th to 12th touch is when I'm going to actually be able to close that person. More than likely with this, I'll be able to close them on the first, second, or third go round, because I'm communicating with them effectively and intentionally. So it has their code right there. So when I pick up the phone to call them, I know exactly what my message needs to be or what my email needs to be that I send them. I know exactly what it should be. And I don't know if you guys understand and see the power in that, but it is seriously the Holy Grail. It's like when you can crack that code. If you saw the Da Vinci Code, the movie, they needed the secret to the Holy Grail to unlock the code. And that's what we have to the human being, is we now have the code to be able to understand how to lock it and get in and effectively communicate with them. So any questions before I get to my closeout stuff? Any questions or comments about anything today that we've talked about? We've got 7 or 8 minutes. Yes, ma'am, Karen.
So I put in, it looked like on your next slide you had a different link, but I put in crackmycode.com/Brenda Wise. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's the one at the top. Well, that's another one. Codebreaker Technologies is also one. Okay. What happened from the time that you took it probably to now, we did some integration of software. So this is a code. The other one probably would have linked over, but this is the one right now that is most effective and updated with the information on our site. So
there are questions. Y'all come in and ask your questions.
Yeah, ask away.
And then I had some questions as well.
Yes, ma'am. Take yourself off mute.
Anybody coming in?
Ask away. That's what I'm here for.
I figured Jessica Hammock loved this because, you know, this is what she does, the jewels.
Yeah. So I have a question. How does this relate to or differ, I guess, from let's just say colors, which is very common and known, blue, red, because they seem different, or gems, which actually follows the colors? Like, what's the main differentiator? Because I'm also certified, so I'm certified in DISC because I'm a JMT, but I also I'm a facilitator for gems. So it's like if you add too much in there, it starts to.
So for me, and all of the assessments that are out there, they're typically, for the layperson, they're a little bit more harder to understand, but more importantly to integrate. You see, this kind of technology, for me, being a DISC certified and being Myers-Briggs certified, you have to have a lot of knowledge to be able to, number one, administer it, and to be able to teach it, and to be able to implement it. I mean, you have to have a strong knowledge base. With this, I've got 4 cards. We have the white papers from the University of San Francisco. So they said that they were absolutely amazed at how accurate this information was. We had another company out of Silicon Valley, and we said, take this and tell us how it can be used in different professions, whether it's clergy, whether it's consulting, whether it's professional sales, parenting, whatever it is. And they said, in our history, we have never found a system that works so effectively for every industry that is out there. Again, for me, Christina, it was about being easy for people to be able to read 4 cards in 90 seconds, be able to assess it based on their value system, and be able to flow and work it with their children, work it with their spouse, work it with their teammates. They didn't have to have a lot of knowledge. Yes, there's a lot of science to this, But this was so easy. It's 4 cards that I can carry anywhere with me. And we even have it with images on it. So as young as 3 years old can do this. So
Okay.
it's just an amazing tool. The science, you know, so oftentimes we say, you know, especially with the colors, because people just get the colors, you know, and they go, oh, well, that's like this or that's like that. All assessments, they're stem off of the temperaments of Hippocrates, period. That's where the basis of all personality assessments come from. So we oftentimes say they're exactly the same, but completely different. And it's just, for me, because I am an NLP master and I understand communications, this was so easy for anybody to understand and implement in their life with their kids, with their spouse, with their teammates, and the science is all there and validated to prove it. So I think that's, for me, what I found most useful. All assessments are great. I mean, they tell you something you didn't know about yourself, right? This just happened to be so easy to be able to translate, and anybody can use it at any time. But thank you, that's a great question.
Great.
Anybody else have a question? Please ask away, anything at all, please. That's what I'm here for.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Is it codebreaker.tech.com/BrendWise or Brenda Wise?
It's Brenda Wise. It's the slides are hidden behind there.
No, I'm looking and it says BRENDWISE. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, it's Brenda Wise.
Okay.
I'm trying to move that thing so we can, there we go. Is that easier?
Well, it's
You
on
have
there
a
wrong.
typo.
That's
We
why
think you have a typo because it says Brend without the A.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then that is my fault. Sorry, Brenda Wise. My fault. Thank you for seeing that. I appreciate it. Yes, Brenda Wise.
we're communicating.
Thank you very much. I couldn't do it because, see, you're probably a blueprint and you're really more detailed oriented than I am. And I was just flowing this up there. So thank you so much, Beth. I appreciate that. Brenda,
No problem.
yes, ma'am.
I'm not a blueprint though. I am.
What do you think you are?
I am pretty sure that I am a nurturing, what is the?
Knowledge or action?
My husband is knowledge
Okay.
and blueprint, and I'm the other two.
Nurture and action.
So you're nurture action.
Yeah.
You're an entrepreneur. That's most entrepreneurs, most CEOs, most business owners, you will find statistically will be nurturers and action or action nurturers. They start a company, they start a business because they're the action taker, but they do it because they care. They want to serve others. So that will always be the combination of most entrepreneurs and CEOs and business owners that are out there.
Cool.
What's the ineedyourmailbox.com thing? What's that?
So I always celebrate people's birthday and stay connected throughout the year. So if you will put your information in there, I will celebrate you on your birthday with a card and a gift. Because no matter who you are and who I connect with, I love staying connected. And that just gives me the ability to do so. So Karen, did you have some questions as well about any of the information?
Oh, yeah. But I mean, the blueprint person has to type in this other thing real quickly.
And that's perfectly okay. Yes, Karen is very blueprint. She is process, procedures, yes, all of that. And God knows we love blueprints, need them in our lives. They pick up on all the details that an action person oftentimes will miss because we're flying at 50,000 feet.
So
I think we should make everybody in our lives take this. It would make my life so much easier.
That's exactly what we do is we have whole family members that will take this. Friends, again, with those 4 cards, these 4 cards are $20. If you want them, all you've got to do is email me them and I will get you a set, $20 for a set that I will send directly to you. You can ask for multiple sets and we have, like I said, the kids sets for the 3-year-olds. Okay, I'm sorry, Karen, did you have a question?
yeah, so if, I hope I've typed this out so that I would get it right. If
Yes, ma'am.
only 18% of buyers will buy from a salesperson who doesn't match the buyer's personality type, and 82% of buyers will buy from a salesperson who does match or align with the buyer's personality type, then do they have statistics for those salespersons who use bank technology, who understand it and connect and communicate well with it, what would be the, I mean, it's got to be a pretty high number.
It is. It absolutely is. And like I said, we have the white papers. The white papers were done in 2000, and I can certainly send them to you. Last year, we just came out. Well, actually, yeah, it was last year we came out with the white papers for the direct selling industry or the network marketing profession, with exactly what all that information does. And you're right. The ability to communicate effectively and to close goes up to like 90 some percent.
When I think it was important for me to understand where I was coming from, I'm as a counselor, I mean, I have a master's and a PhD in counseling, but could not do the disc with you or any of that Myers-Briggs stuff. I just couldn't do it. It just goes in one ear and out the other. And while I'm very fascinated by them, I have a tendency to think, oh, I have 64 pages of information in this report. I'm a knowledge junkie. I'm so thrilled with this, but I really still don't know what to do with this. So I think that's one of the things that drew me to, one, understanding my perspective, and then understanding others' perspective. And when you guys, some of them are already going there. When you go to the website, I mean, aren't the cards neat? And you can just click and drag the cards and put them in any order. Who did that? Whoever did that? Just, that was the cat's meow for me. I just wanted to.
Sherry Tree is the creator, and
Well,
she started this about 20 years ago.
All day long. That's all I wanted to do was click and drag cards. So.
Yeah, 4 cards is all it is. So like I said, these are fabulous cards. I carry them everywhere with me. When I am networking and I sit down for a coffee, I hand these to the person across from me and just say, do me a favor, read these, put them in order, and so I can serve you better and save us both some time. If it's your spouse or your kids, to be able to know who they are and how you should be parenting them is absolutely an amazing, amazing gift that you can give to them. And of course, for spouses, my sister was a blueprint. The rest of us were nurturers and action. And I always wondered why she always kind of seemed like the black sheep of the family. She never really fit in. And not until I started learning this 3 years ago that I realized she was just very different than all of us. She didn't communicate, relate. She kept very much to herself. She didn't share a lot of information. And I just thought that was odd, because I'm a nurturer, man. I'm going to share everything, and I'm an action person. I want to hug you and all that stuff. But she was so different, and now I understand her. So yes, the ability to understand goes up.
When you talked about going to someone's LinkedIn profile and just kind of copying it and putting it wherever, and how important, it's got to have something to do with the fact that they were good at filling out their profile in the first place or not. I mean, there's so many of us who really don't know who we are. We're just discovering who we are. So what if somebody filled out their profile and they just really were off the mark?
See, here's the deal. When it's the artificial intelligence that we've just grown into in the last year, which takes us over the top of every other personality assessment that's out there, or communication piece that's out there, we are totally artificial intelligence. So when you look at somebody's profile on LinkedIn, you can see that they may be really high in action and high in blueprint, but they have no nurture and no knowledge in there. So the goal is, number one, to know how they communicate, number one. But more importantly, when we're putting our profile on there, I redid my profile so everything is even. So when a knowledge person reads my profile, they're going to connect. When an action person reads my profile, they're going to connect. When that knowledge reads my profile, because see, I have linguistically power scripted my LinkedIn profile to be able to match every communication style that's out there. And that's what we want to do, because that will get us more business and help people to go, wow, I like this person. I like what they're saying. It's really resonating with me. I want to do business with that person. And that's what artificial intelligence is doing for us.
So let's start a thread with your link in the NACWE group so that people can click it and take the test and ask them to put their code underneath, so we can see if we can match some people up. So a couple of really quick last minute questions. Jasmine said, so if I wanted to use this with my clients virtually, you just tell them to go to the website? But you have to have an account first like you do, right?
Yeah, give me a call and I can clue you in on if you want a bank pass account, it's $49 and you can code as many people as you want. You can code 1,000, 10,000. We have no limits. Most assessments out there, it costs per assessment.
49
We're not like that.
49 a year, 49 a month.
49 a month allows you to code as many people as you want. No limit.
And then Kathy said, what if I can't decide? So Kathy, did you go take it? Did you go move the cards? And you didn't get a clear answer, or you couldn't decide where to put
No,
them?
I couldn't decide which card to put first.
So,
Can I
and
just say, knowing you the way that I do, that is so you.
I know, right?
so that tells me you're probably a nurturer. You're probably, but we can definitely everybody write down my phone number. I'm doing an hour free consult. So please call me and we can have some discussion about, you know, yourself, where you may be cloudy or a little unclear. I'd be delighted. For those of you that really see value in this, that would love to start using this more in your business, whether a coach, consultant, whether you just want to connect better with your team, if you're in direct selling and network marketing, I'm going to do a 4-hour special class, Zoom class, that will allow you to really gain a deep dive into all of this information for you to be able to use it every single day in your life, every single day.
Awesome. So make sure we have a link to that class in both NACWE groups, or if you just want it to be in either one.
Yeah, I can do it either way, whichever you prefer. I haven't set the date for it. I wanted to see if there was some interest first, and then I'll go ahead and put a link up there and the date of when that will be offered.
Well, let's do especially in the smaller, the NACWE, the more intimate group, because it'll help us to keep track of it. And let's put the link and ask everybody to say what their assessment came out to be. And then that might spur some more interest in your 4-hour.
Sure.
Yeah. But I found this to be so fascinating. I mean, the mind just went whirring away. It was easy for me to know who I was. My husband did it. I don't remember. I wish I could remember all of it and where we put all of our results and stuff, but I'll go find them. But I just found it. He loves stuff like that anyway, having been in food industry with PepsiCo for 39 years. You know, he just thought that was the cat's meow. So thank you.
Yeah, that's
so much.
Thank you so much for being on here, all of you. I appreciate your input.
So fascinating. So, okay. So Beth said she tried to do the birthday thing and it said there was a problem with her information and to try again. So I'm also wondering if maybe this link, I didn't type it in there right or something. Maybe
that should be perfect straight on. If you have any questions whatsoever, please just text me and I will make sure you get all the information immediately.
we'll do that.
So
Thank you
just
so
take
much.
my number or my email address and get a hold of me either way, and I'll make sure you get the information.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Brenda. Appreciate it. Let me pray us out. Father God, we need to know, we talk about identity all the time. And so this just lines right up with, we have to know who we are and who we are in Christ and understand our values. I love that this is based on values. Perhaps they all are, but this one seems a little more weighted in that direction. We need to know, we need to understand ourselves and the people that we work with to work with them well. And so I'm just so grateful for this information. Lord, we're in information overload in some ways. And so I appreciate the simplicity of this and that you brought Brenda to us either through Dr. Sandra or somewhere I found her. We love these divine appointments. I'm grateful, Lord, for all of the 9 of us that were here sharing this hour together, all that they mean to me. We rub shoulders with some of the most amazing Christian women entrepreneurs on the planet. What a blessing from you, Lord. May we be better communicators, especially in what you've called us to do, and build better connections. I love that that's the direction we went in, because that's the direction we will continue to go in as we talk about intellectual wellness this month, that we could build greater and stronger connections, Lord, through these God divine appointments or meetings would be such a blessing to us. We ask, Lord, that we're diligent and purposeful in our growth and in our connections with other people, especially this month as we talk about intellectual wellness. And we ask these things in Jesus Christ's holy name. Amen. God bless you.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Karen.
You too.